More, what would change in your life if, starting tonight, you drew a line at your front door and said, only peace, purpose, more, and people who protect both may enter? Friends, homes don't just happen, they're shaped. More, every voice you allow inside becomes a brick in your family's foundation. Open the door to courage and you'll raise champions. Open the door to chaos, more, and you'll raise anxiety. Today I'm calling you to be the gatekeeper of your dwelling, firm, kind, and wise. Before you sleep tonight, more, stand at your doorway, literally if you can, and speak this declaration: this home is a refuge. Peace lives here, purpose grows here, more, and only people who protect both are welcome here. Put that sentence at eye level. Teach it to your kids. Model it for your guests. Guard your gate, more, and your gate will guard your family. Choose your company, and your company will shape your destiny. More, 5 people to keep away may feel like subtraction, but watch how quickly peace, courage, and joy add up when you protect what matters most. More, guarding the gate of your home is one of the most important responsibilities you carry as the leader of your household. Think of your home as a sanctuary, more, a sacred place where peace should flow freely, where laughter and love should be nurtured, more, and where the people who dwell there can rest without fear or disturbance. But sanctuaries are not protected by accident. They are guarded by intention. More, just as a castle has walls and a gate to keep out intruders, so too must you protect the atmosphere of your home by deciding who has access to it. More, not everyone who knocks at your door deserves entry, because entry isn't simply about walking across a threshold, it is about bringing their energy, words, habits, and attitudes into the very heart of your dwelling. Every time someone steps into your home, they leave an imprint. Some leave joy, more, encouragement, and wisdom, while others leave heaviness, conflict, and confusion. If you do not become intentional about guarding the gate, more, you risk allowing people to plant seeds of negativity in the soil where your family's dreams, values, and faith are meant to grow. Peace is fragile, more, and when you permit constant criticism, endless drama, or divisive words to echo through your living room, more, it begins to erode the very environment you are trying to build. Guarding the gate means recognizing that your role is not to please everyone, more, but to protect the ones entrusted to you. Too often people confuse compassion with unrestricted access. We think, if I love them, I should let them in. More, if I care about them, I should always open my door. But love and access are not the same. More, you can love someone deeply and still know they should not cross your threshold. Compassion can be expressed with a phone call, a meal delivered, more, a prayer whispered, but access to your home is a privilege that must be earned. Why? Because the spirit of your home shapes the spirit of your family. More, if your home is filled with unrest because of the wrong company, it is your family that pays the price, not the guest who leaves at the end of the evening. More, guarding the gate also means seeing yourself as a steward. A steward manages something precious on behalf of the one who gave it. More, your home is more than wood, nails, and bricks. It is the environment where character is formed, where children learn what safety feels like. More, and where trust is either strengthened or broken. Stewardship demands vigilance. If you would not leave your doors unlocked at night, more, why would you leave your emotional and spiritual gates unguarded? The thief may not steal your television, but they may rob your peace, joy, more, and unity through the influence of careless words or unhealthy behaviors. There is a saying, show me your friends, and I'll show you your future. More. But it's also true, show me the people you allow into your home, and I'll show you the climate of your family's heart. More. Some people bring with them a climate of criticism, and before long your children feel unworthy. Some bring a climate of gossip. More. And soon trust is shattered. Others bring chaos, and your living room becomes a battlefield instead of a refuge. More. Guarding the gate requires discernment, asking yourself, what atmosphere does this person carry with them? More. And is it one I want planted in my home? The truth is, guarding the gate doesn't always feel easy. More. You may face guilt when you say no to someone you care about. You may face criticism when you choose boundaries over blind acceptance. More. But peace always has a price, and the cost is worth it. Your family deserves a home that breathes life into them, not one that drains it out. More, they deserve a refuge, not a revolving door of unhealthy influences. When you guard the gate, more, you are not shutting people out. You are protecting the sacred atmosphere where love, growth, and safety can thrive. So, guard your gate with courage. More, guard it with wisdom. Guard it knowing that every yes you give to the right person strengthens your home. More, and every no you give to the wrong one preserves the peace within. A house may be built with brick and stone, more, but a home is built with choices. And one of the greatest choices you will ever make is who you allow inside. Guard it well, more, for your family's future depends on it. Access is not the same as love, more. And one of the most important lessons we can learn in protecting our homes is that you can show compassion to someone without granting them unlimited entry into your private world. More, many people confuse the two, believing that if they truly care about someone, they must constantly open their doors, tolerate every behavior, more, and allow that person to influence the atmosphere inside their house. But love can exist at a healthy distance, more, and compassion is not diminished by boundaries, it is strengthened by them. When you allow people into your home, more, you are not just sharing your living room or your dining table, you are giving them access to your peace, your children's development, more, and the tone of your household. That is a gift too valuable to be offered without careful thought. Think about it, compassion flows from the heart, more, but access involves wisdom. Compassion says, I see your need, I feel your pain, I want to help. But wisdom asks, more. What impact will this person's presence have on the environment of my family? Am I offering help that lifts them up, more, or am I opening the door to influences that will drag us all down? Too often, people sacrifice the safety of their own home in the name of compassion, more, believing that endurance equals kindness. They invite in someone who continually disrupts the peace, only to watch their children retreat into silence, more, their spouse lose patience, and their own spirit grow weary. Love should never demand that you compromise the very place where your soul is meant to rest. More, it is possible and necessary to show kindness without surrendering your sanctuary. More, you can deliver a meal to someone without allowing them to sit at your table. More, you can offer encouragement through a call or a message without inviting them into your living room. More, you can listen to someone's struggles without permitting their chaos to echo down your hallway. Access is a privilege, not a right, more. And when you confuse compassion with constant accessibility, you risk handing your peace to people who neither value nor protect it. Many of us were raised with the belief that love is synonymous with sacrifice, and to an extent that is true. But sacrifice must be guided by wisdom. More, if your sacrifice tears down the well-being of your own household, it ceases to be love and becomes neglect. More, imagine leaving your front door unlocked because you didn't want to offend the stranger who might want to come in. That would be reckless. More, in the same way, leaving the emotional or spiritual doors of your home unguarded in the name of compassion is reckless toward those who depend on you most. More, real love discerns when to draw close and when to keep a healthy distance. There will be people in your life who do not understand this distinction. More, they may accuse you of being unkind or unloving when you set boundaries. But the truth is, boundaries are not walls, they are fences with gates. More, they allow you to choose wisely who enters and who stays outside. Just because someone is outside the fence does not mean you hate them. More, it simply means you are protecting the garden within. Compassion reaches over the fence with food, encouragement, prayer, and support. Access, however, more, is reserved for those who bring life, respect, and stability into your home. This perspective not only protects your household, more, it also empowers those you love. When you refuse to be the constant host to destructive behavior, you encourage the other person to grow, to seek change more, and to value relationships enough to honor boundaries. Compassion without access can actually be the most loving thing you do because it communicates, more, I care about you, but I will not allow you to destroy what I am building. That message, though difficult, more, can be the very catalyst for transformation in someone else's life. At the end of the day, love is not measured by how many times you open your door, more, but by the integrity of the environment you create behind it. If your home is filled with peace, joy, and unity, you are loving your family well, more, and if you extend kindness to others while still guarding your household, you are loving them wisely. Remember this truth. More compassion can reach across any distance, but access must always be earned. Choose carefully who you let in, and never mistake open arms for an open door. More, your home deserves both love and peace, and those two can only coexist when you understand that access is not love. More, the people you permit into your home will shape your family's future in ways you may not even realize at first. More, every person who crosses the threshold of your doorway carries with them an atmosphere, an influence, a set of values, more, and often an agenda, spoken or unspoken. When you invite them in, you're not only welcoming their presence, you're also introducing their spirit, more, their habits, and their mindset into the most intimate environment of your life. Over time, more, those influences, whether positive or negative, become threads woven into the fabric of your household. More, a kind word from a guest can plant encouragement that grows in your children's hearts, while a toxic remark can linger like smoke, more, clouding their confidence or planting seeds of fear. Who you permit is not a small decision, more, it is a seed-planting decision that affects your family's harvest. Consider how children, especially, more, are shaped by the voices they hear and the examples they see. If you regularly welcome people who complain, criticize, or gossip, more, don't be surprised when your children begin to mimic those same patterns. They absorb the atmosphere like sponges. More, if divisive words are spoken in your living room, those words may echo in your family's conversations long after the guest has left. On the other hand, more, when you permit people who uplift, encourage, and inspire, your children learn the power of kindness, the value of faith, and the importance of respect. More, the company you allow inside sets the tone for the lessons your family will carry forward. More, your decision today about who comes through your door will shape tomorrow's values, habits, and attitudes in your household. More, this principle holds true, not just for children, but for everyone in the home. Adults, too, are influenced by the people around them. More, relationships can either lift us higher or drag us lower. Invite in the wrong people consistently and you will soon find your own peace being drained. More, your motivation being questioned and your goals being diminished. The voices you allow into your home become the voices that influence your outlook. More, your decisions and your priorities. That's why it is so important to guard the gate carefully. More, a single evening of hosting someone who thrives on negativity may not change you, but years of exposure to such energy will. More, just as a houseplant bends toward the sunlight, people bend toward the influences that surround them. More, think of your home as the training ground for your family's destiny. It is the place where values are reinforced, where character is shaped. More, and where relationships are nurtured. If the wrong people are consistently permitted to walk through your door, more, they will train your family in the wrong direction. A guest who undermines your parenting, for example, more, may erode the respect your children have for authority. More, a visitor who constantly mocks ambition or faith may quietly discourage your spouse from pursuing their dreams. Conversely, welcoming guests who speak life, more, demonstrate integrity, and model resilience can reinforce the very virtues you hope to see take root in your household. More, what you allow in will eventually come out, and the influence you permit will determine the trajectory of your family's growth. More, the sobering truth is that not all people are neutral. Some people carry peace and wisdom, while others carry chaos and destruction. More, it may feel harsh to acknowledge that, but wisdom requires discernment. More, you wouldn't invite a person covered in mud to sit on your white couch without protection. More, why then would you invite someone with toxic attitudes to sit freely in the heart of your family? Over time, their residue spreads, more, staining the atmosphere of your home. The stains may not appear overnight, but slowly and surely they settle in. More, that is why your role as a gatekeeper is not optional. It is essential. More, your family's future depends not only on what you teach, but also on what you tolerate. If you want your children to grow into people of courage, more, surround them with people who demonstrate courage. If you want your marriage to remain strong, invite into your circle people who honor marriage, more, not those who ridicule it. If you want your home to remain a place of peace, limit the presence of people who carry strife. More, every person you permit is a builder, either constructing or dismantling the foundation of your family's future. More, some will help you lay bricks of encouragement, faith, and perseverance. Others will quietly chip away at those same bricks, leaving cracks that may not be visible until pressure comes. So choose wisely. It is not about being unkind or unloving, it is about being intentional. More, you can care for people deeply and still decide that they should not have access to your home. More, you can offer compassion without offering permission to influence your atmosphere by being selective about who enters. More, you are not being judgmental, you are being responsible. Because one day, when you look back on the values, the strength, and the unity of your family, more, you will realize that much of it was shaped not only by the lessons you taught, but by the people you permitted. And when that day comes, more, you will either thank yourself for guarding the gate or regret not doing so. More, the choice begins with every knock on the door and every decision you make about who is welcome to step inside. More, spotting patterns early in people's behavior and learning to correct them with clarity instead of cruelty is one of the wisest ways to protect the atmosphere of your home. More, the truth is, harmful influences rarely arrive with flashing warning lights. They don't usually come through the door shouting, "More, I'm here to destroy your peace." Instead, they slip in through small habits, repeated words, or subtle actions that, over time, create a pattern. More, a sarcastic comment here, a broken promise there, a moment of disrespect shrugged off, and before long, more, those small patterns take root and begin to erode the values and stability of your household. If you wait until the damage is obvious, more, it is often much harder to repair. But if you learn to discern these patterns early, you can correct them with clarity, set expectations, more, and prevent greater harm. More, every family has experienced moments when a guest or even a relative exhibits behavior that feels off. Maybe it's constant negativity. More, maybe it's a tendency to pry into private matters. Maybe it's a habit of ignoring boundaries. One or two incidents might not seem like much. More, but patterns matter more than moments. A moment can be forgiven and forgotten, but a pattern reveals character. More, the wise gatekeeper of a home learns to pay attention to patterns rather than excuses. It is easy for someone to say, "More, I didn't mean it," or "it was just a joke," but if the same behavior shows up again and again, it's not an accident, it's a pattern. More, the challenge is that spotting patterns is only the first step. What you do with that awareness determines the outcome. More, some people respond to discomfort by lashing out, correcting harshly, or cutting ties abruptly. But cruelty rarely produces change. It often produces resentment. Clarity, on the other hand, sets boundaries without bitterness. Clarity says, "More, this is what I noticed. This is how it affects my home. This is what I need to see instead." When you address patterns with calm firmness, more, you communicate both respect for the person and responsibility for your family. More, if you notice a guest consistently belittling your children with sarcastic humor, you don't need to erupt in anger or shame them publicly. But you also cannot afford to ignore it. A clear response might sound like, "I know you enjoy joking around, more, but in this house we don't use humor that tears down. Please encourage instead of criticize. That is not cruel, it is corrective. More, it names the pattern, explains the effect, and sets a standard for future behavior. Clarity also requires consistency. More, if you allow a pattern to continue after addressing it once, you signal that your words carry no weight. More, but if you calmly and consistently enforce your boundaries, people will learn that you mean what you say. Over time, more. This not only protects your home, but also teaches your children how to stand up for themselves with dignity. They learn that correction is not cruelty. More, and boundaries are not punishment, they are protection. Another danger in ignoring patterns is the slow erosion of trust. More, every time you dismiss a harmful habit, your family notices. Your spouse might wonder why their discomfort isn't taken seriously. More, your children might question whether their feelings matter. When you allow unhealthy patterns to persist, more, you send the silent message that peace in your home is negotiable. But when you spot patterns early and address them clearly, more, you show your family that their well-being is your priority and that your home is worth protecting. More, it is also worth remembering that correction with clarity is not just about keeping harmful influences out. It can also help people grow. Sometimes, more, people are unaware of the effect their actions have. A pattern you notice may be a blind spot to them. When you address it respectfully, more, you give them an opportunity to change, and some will rise to the challenge. Others may not, and in those cases, you will have to limit their access. More, but at least you will know you offered truth with grace. Life has enough unavoidable battles without inviting avoidable ones into your home. More, the way to prevent those unnecessary struggles is to keep your eyes open to repeated behaviors, name them honestly, and set expectations early. More, correction delivered with cruelty hardens hearts and creates division, but correction delivered with clarity preserves dignity, guards peace. More, and builds respect, so pay attention. Watch the words that linger, the habits that repeat, the tones that unsettle the room. Ask yourself, more, is this a one-time moment, or is it becoming a pattern? And if it is a pattern, more, will I have the courage to address it now before it becomes a problem too big to control? More, the answer to that question will often determine the level of peace your family enjoys tomorrow. More, protect your home not only by locking the doors at night, but by locking out harmful patterns with the keys of discernment, clarity, and kindness. More, in doing so, you guard the sanctuary entrusted to you, and you keep your family safe from influences that could quietly undermine their future. When someone refuses to change, even after being lovingly corrected and given opportunities to do better, it becomes necessary to limit contact with them in order to protect your safety and sanity. Every home has boundaries, more, not only the physical walls and doors that mark its limits, but also the invisible rules and expectations that govern its atmosphere. More, these boundaries are not meant to punish people but to preserve peace. More, when someone continually disregards those boundaries and shows no willingness to grow, you must recognize the point where compassion ends and wisdom begins. More, to keep your home healthy, you cannot allow repeated harm under the excuse of patience or endless second chances. More, it is important to remember that change is always possible, but only if the person desires it. More, you cannot force growth on someone who refuses to see their behavior as a problem. You can advise them, encourage them, more, and even show them the consequences of their actions, but ultimately transformation is a choice only they can make. If they repeatedly reject that choice, more, then continuing to give them access to your home is not an act of love. It is an act of neglect toward your family. More, allowing toxic patterns to remain unchecked will slowly erode your household's peace, drain your energy, and create unnecessary division. More, limiting contact is not cruelty. It is self-respect and protection for those who depend on you. Think of it this way: your home is like a garden. More, you may invite people in to enjoy the beauty, share the fruit, and rest in its shade. But what happens if someone repeatedly tramples the flowers? More, uproots the plants and scatters weeds across the soil. At first, you may kindly explain the rules of the garden. More, you may even help them replant what they destroyed. But if they refuse to respect the garden and continue to damage it, more, the only way to preserve the beauty is to keep them outside the gate. In the same way, when a person refuses to change harmful behavior, more, the healthiest thing you can do is to limit their access. The danger of allowing repeated disrespect is that it normalizes dysfunction. More, the more you tolerate it, the more your family begins to see it as acceptable. Children may start to think criticism is love, chaos is normal, more, or dishonesty is just part of life. A spouse may begin to lose hope that peace will ever be possible, and you may grow weary, more, carrying stress and frustration that could have been avoided. By limiting contact with those who refuse to change, you send a powerful message. More, this home is a sanctuary, and peace is non-negotiable. You reinforce that health matters more than habit, and respect matters more than convenience. Some people fear that limiting contact is unkind, but in reality, it is often the most loving thing you can do for yourself, your family, more, and even the other person. By removing easy access, you allow natural consequences to take their course. More, sometimes people only realize the seriousness of their behavior when doors begin to close. More, your boundary may become the very wake-up call they need to pursue growth. Even if they never change, you have preserved the health of your own home. More, and that is a victory worth protecting. Limiting contact does not always mean complete estrangement. It can look different depending on the situation. More, it might mean reducing the frequency of visits, choosing neutral places to meet instead of your home, or setting strict time limits on interactions. More, it could mean phone conversations instead of in-person gatherings or keeping interactions polite but brief. In some severe cases, more, when safety is threatened, it may mean cutting ties altogether. The level of limitation depends on the level of refusal to change. More, but the principle remains the same. Your peace and safety must not be sacrificed. The courage to limit contact often comes with guilt. You may feel torn, more, especially if the person is a relative or long-time friend. But guilt must never outweigh responsibility. Ask yourself, more, who pays the price when I ignore this boundary? The answer is always your family and yourself. More, and their well-being matters more than anyone else's opinion. You can still love someone, pray for them, more, and wish them the best without giving them access to your home. Love does not always look like proximity. Sometimes love looks like distance. More, at the heart of this principle is a truth every family needs to embrace. Peace is priceless. Once lost, it is difficult to restore. The wrong people, more, when given repeated chances without accountability, can rob you of it little by little. But by drawing the line with grace and firmness, more, you protect not only your present peace but also your future stability. More, limiting contact is not about shutting people out. It is about keeping what matters most safe within. More, it is about ensuring that your home remains a place of rest, not unrest, of harmony, not hostility. And when you make that choice, more, you will find that your family grows stronger, your spirit feels lighter, and your home once again becomes the refuge it was always meant to be. More, filling your circle with builders, people who add peace, purpose, more, and protection is one of the wisest investments you can make in the atmosphere of your home and the future of your family. More, life is too short and too precious to spend in the company of those who tear down, diminish, or distract from the values you hold dear. More, every relationship you nurture is either constructing something meaningful in your life or quietly dismantling the foundation beneath you. More, builders are those who strengthen your walls rather than chip away at them, who bring light into your living space instead of shadows. More, and who add stability when storms come instead of contributing to the chaos. Choosing builders is not about elitism or exclusion. It is about discernment. More, understanding that your environment is shaped by the voices you welcome and the spirits you entertain. Builders are people who add peace. More, they are the ones who walk into your home and immediately calm the atmosphere rather than stirring up unrest. Their words are seasoned with encouragement. More, their presence is steady, and their hearts lean toward reconciliation rather than conflict. When disagreements arise, more, builders do not pour gasoline on the fire, they help extinguish the flames. Their presence is like cool water on a hot day, refreshing and soothing. More. Think about the difference it makes when someone visits your home and leaves you lighter rather than heavier. More, that is the gift of a builder who carries peace. They don't just bring stillness, they model what it means to live in harmony. More, teaching your family that peace is not weakness but strength under control. Builders also add purpose. More, they don't waste time tearing others down or chasing distractions that have no eternal value. Instead, more, they challenge you and your family to live with intention. They speak words that remind you of your goals, encourage you to stay the course. More, and applaud your progress, no matter how small. These are the friends who celebrate your victories and refuse to let you quit when you feel discouraged. More, they see potential in your children and call it out with affirmation, planting seeds of confidence and courage. Builders don't just visit your home. More, they leave behind inspiration that lingers long after they've gone. Their influence nudges you forward. More, helping you and your family stay aligned with your values and focused on what truly matters. Protection is another hallmark of builders. They guard trust. More, honor your boundaries and stand with you when adversity strikes. A builder never uses your openness against you, nor do they exploit your vulnerabilities. More, instead, they defend your reputation, protect your privacy, and contribute to the safety of your home. Protection also means they value your rules. More, a builder doesn't mock your standards or dismiss your convictions. They respect them and encourage others to do the same. More, in a world where betrayal and selfishness can erode relationships, builders are the rare companions who shield your heart rather than expose it. More, their loyalty creates an environment where your family feels secure, knowing that the people allowed inside are allies, not threats. More, surrounding yourself with builders requires intentionality. Not everyone who wants access to your life should be given it. More, and not everyone who enters your home deserves to stay. More, you must learn to evaluate relationships not by how long you've known someone, but by the fruit they produce in your life. More, does this person bring peace or conflict? Do they help you move toward your purpose or distract you from it? Do they protect your trust or exploit it? More, these questions are not selfish, they are essential. Your family's future is too valuable to risk on associations that tear down instead of build up. More, the beauty of surrounding yourself with builders is that their influence multiplies, peace spreads, purpose deepens. More, and protection strengthens when it is modeled consistently. Your children will learn to choose friends who uplift instead of undermine. More, your marriage will thrive when it is encouraged by voices that honor and respect it. And you, personally, more, will find greater clarity and strength when you walk alongside people who believe in you and push you toward growth. Builders don't just add to your life. More, they multiply blessings. The people you allow close to your home and heart will determine the climate of your future. Tearers down will leave scars. More, but builders will leave legacies. Choose to fill your circle with those who construct, who encourage, who heal, and who protect. More, doing so is not only a gift to yourself but also an inheritance for your family. Years from now, when you look back, you will see that the peace, purpose, more, and protection you enjoy did not come by accident. It came because you chose to surround yourself with builders. More, and they helped you build a home and a future worth cherishing. At the end of the day, more, protecting your home is about more than locking doors and closing windows. It is about guarding the atmosphere of the one place meant to be your family's refuge. More, the people you allow inside will either bring peace or unrest, courage or fear, wisdom or foolishness. More, you have learned that guarding the gate begins with vigilance, that love is not the same as unlimited access. More, that every person you permit influences your family's future, that harmful patterns must be spotted early, and corrected with clarity. More, that those who refuse to change must sometimes be kept at a distance. More, and that the circle you choose to keep should always be filled with builders who bring peace, purpose, and protection. So let me ask you, more, if your home truly is a sanctuary, what kind of guests will you welcome through its doors? The choice is yours. Draw the line at your threshold. More, declare that your house will be a place of peace, joy, safety, and growth. Love people, yes, but love your family enough to protect them first. More, choose your company wisely, and your company will shape your destiny. Because when you guard your gate will guard your future.